Hi everybody, this is Dave Snyder from the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club for the talking about the Prescott Sunrise Lions show presented by the Prescott Media Center at the Prescott Armory. I'm David A. Snyder, CPA, MBA, EA with David A. Snyder, CPA. I'm a member of the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club. Please go to prescottsunriselionclub.org to see the projects we participate in and come to our meeting every Thursday at 7 a.m. at Waffles and More. Every Thursday at 7 a.m., Waffles and More. We're coming up on tax credit season. Please call me at 928-445-0104, extension 9, if you have any questions regarding tax credits. Let's talk about tax credits a little bit. There's five Arizona tax credits. They are the Prescott schools, or the schools tuition. It's $400 married filing jointly, and 200 other statuses, and that's to Prescott High, the Prescott Valley schools, everything in Arizona. Okay. Then there's the Prescott tuition. I'm sorry, the school tuition program, which is $2,182 married filing jointly, and half of that, $1,092 or $96 for other statuses. And there's also the foster care tax credit, which is $1,000 married filing jointly and $500 other statuses. There's the Arizona Military Family Relief Fund, which is $400 married filing jointly and $200 other statuses. That might be a little bit old now. You might not be able to get that in this year because last year I gave mine in November, and it got sent back to me because they had met their cap, which is $1 million. So you might not be able to do that one for this year, but try it next year. And then there's a charitable organization tax credit. It used to be called the Working Poor tax credit, and that is $800 married filing jointly and 400 other statuses. Now you have until April 15th to do that, but if you do it by 12/31, it helps you on your federal tax return too. So I wanted to emphasize that. Take advantage of that tax credit. Only 10% of the people in Arizona that are eligible for that tax credit actually utilize it, and that's just too low. Instead of spending $2,000 on your taxes, you can give it to these charitable organizations that you can monitor during a year and determine if you want to give again to them. And instead of giving it down to Phoenix and giving it to whatever the government down there wants to spend it on. So send it here because it's better. It's better for you. You can control it, and it's not wasted down there. Okay, so the Lions Clubs were started in 1917 and were initially business clubs, but in the 1920s, Helen Keller asked us to be the Knights of the Blind. So the attached video tells us about what we do with some of our funds from tax credits and other Lions activities, and it's the first plank of Lionism, which is sight and hearing. The other planks are children's cancer, hunger, and geez, I'm just blanking, and the environment. So we do like paper projects for the environment. For Prescott Valley, we do paper recycling. So that's one of the things we do for Lionism for Prescott Valley. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the Lions International is now working on a new global initiative, which has just become the fifth plank of Lionism, and that is diabetes. And it's a worldwide diabetes epidemic. The Lions Clubs in the Tri-City are looking at ways to distribute the pilot program related to this initiative, and we are planning on creating diabetes support groups to help people in the region dealing with diabetes. And we've set those up, and they're going to be ongoing. In fact, my club, the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club, is going to start theirs for children's diabetes in January of 2018. Okay, we are going to talk about services provided to Arizona's Children Association with our guest, Daniel Leavitt. Thank you, Daniel, for being with us.
Hi there.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Daniel Leavitt. I've been fortunate enough to be in Yavapai County for over 13 years, 11 years with Arizona's Children's Association that I work with. Actually December 4th. So if you're watching it before, I'm coming up on that anniversary. After that, 11 strong years. I've been able to be a part of this organization in a variety of different ways. I've worked on the programmatic side where I've interacted with the youth in our community and helped them receive services, graduate from these services, which we'll talk about a little later, and benefit and to move on. And now I've been in a position for 3 years as the Director of Development to talk about the agency and to express some of the changing things that are going on and the needs for families and youth inside our area.
That's great. That sounds really wonderful. What are the programs at Arizona's Children's Association?
Well, the place to start off would be in 1912, where we started off our organization.
A little bit before us.
It is, but in Tucson, Arizona, to whereas that building has become a historic landmark, and it was established as an orphanage, okay? Something that is not prevalent in today's society, fortunately, but services for kids have adjusted. So throughout the 100+ years that Arizona's Children's Association has been around, we've adjusted our game accordingly to what the needs are of the families and children inside our state. So with that question that you just asked me, what are some of the services that we provide right now for kids? Well, there's foster care and adoption, which works on many different levels inside this community. Sometimes we're looking at biological parents who are no longer in a position to provide for the primary child. So step in relatives, grandparents, things along those lines. And we're here to support them with services to make sure that they succeed. We want the child to succeed as well as for the primary caregivers. So that's one of the services that we provide. And even if it's not a biological family, we're part of that process, is what I like to call it, that love connection. I don't want to place a kid who is a teenager in a family that wants an infant. That's not good for anybody. So my agency is really about quality and not quantity. We want to make sure that our providers as well as the child succeeds. So these are some of the strongholds and things that we take pride on as far as for an agency is with the quality of the services that we're able to provide, and instead of just a quantity and looking at the numbers. Yes.
In a minute, okay, so you deal with the tax credit program too.
Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah.
Do you overlap?
That's a great question.
With the foster care and the charitable organization?
We are definitely a charitable organization. We have opted out of the foster care because of the percentage of services. We're able to provide more services on the other end instead of limiting ourselves to the foster care, even though a lot of our population is within the foster care system. It's just the percentage, which I think is pretty high, 80-90%. It just does not for the services we want to expand to. There's some great organizations, I think, Catholic Charities and other organizations that we partner with to provide services for kids in our community that are able to access that tax credit. But thanks for pointing that out.
Okay. Go on with the program.
Sure. No, but along those lines, as far as one of our programs, Young Adult Services, which focuses on our youth 17 to 21 as they might be phasing out of the foster care system, whether they're with biological family or whether they're with adoptive parents, helping them realize the services that they have available to them. There's education routes, if that's what they're so motivated for, as far as with the collegiate system throughout the state, or if there's a trade program. I just got a kid I used to work with back in a program we used to have called Skills Training and Respite. When he was a youth, we were looking at some options for him. Scholastically, he was able to graduate high school. From that point on, he looked at the service, to whereas he served 3 years in the United States Army over in Germany, and it was a very positive experience for him. He had just finished his tour of duty and had been offered, we were tied, he gave me a call, which is fabulous within itself. He's like, I've got this option of looking at a trucking career. And, he's like, hey, can I use you as a reference? I'm like, of course you can. I mean, you're doing great. I'm glad to be a part of that support system. And so now he has pursued a career in the trucking business, and he's thoroughly enjoying it. He has started a family in North Carolina, and so this company's working with him, so he's able to be home, to be around, to help out his wife, and to watch the kids grow up, and to get himself a career with inside the process. So,
Okay.
It's nice to be part of that mentorship, which that ties into our young adult services. There's a Thrive mentorship program, which we look at volunteers. There's some fabulous organizations that are out there, Boys to Men, things along those lines. Some of our population is very specialized. We're dealing with youth that are in foster care system, and our commitment we look at from our volunteers is for a 2-year period. So there's a consistency there. And there's nothing out of the ordinary of what these kids' needs are. They're just like any teenager.
Yep.
Who knows everything. Because I remember when I was a teenager, I knew everything. But here
Both my daughter and son.
And so we're looking at just putting a team together of a support system for basic. How do I open up a bank account? Well, here I'm here to support you. I'm here to be a reference. I'm here to put together a resume. I'm here to help you. Look at some of the options that you have available for you for being in the Arizona foster care system. So that's our Thrive mentorship program.
Now, you do scholarships or anything? Into say Yavapai College or the C-Tech program, or
our agency, we look at our agency itself doesn't do that, but there are scholarships that we do.
Because we give vocational scholarships.
No, and that's great to know.
I don't know if that ties in with your youth 18 to 21.
So we have it here on film right now. David has just volunteered to give money to the youth. I'm just kidding. No, this is something for them to pursue the options that are out there. If somebody is looking at metal work and they have found a vocational school and are looking for the money, we would help them pursue that funding for what's available and to look at the options that are available within inside the community. So all this stuff, like, for us, if our agency can't do it, I'm in communication constantly with other agencies within inside our community to say, hey, you know what, we're very specialized in what we do, but I know somebody who could do this. And within return, it's benefited us as well. As we're right now in the midst of the holiday season, we have our program called Gifts of Hope, which are clinicians, when they're within inside the clientele that we provide services for, if they feel that their holiday may be deficient for a variety of different reasons, we have a program in place to whereas we can implement getting them their needs. And obviously we're not handing out iPhones and things along those lines, but if somebody is looking at some material to help them scholastically, we're able to provide that. To whereas with inside other counties that our agency deals with, they have to be more aware that the individual isn't receiving 7 or 8 different services, for us, we know when we're going into the home, if we're not able to provide these services for the holiday, they might not be receiving anything. So we're very select, and our clinicians are very in tune with what the families are in need for. And some of the requests, when they're asking for jackets and shoes, you're just like, yeah, we could do that, but feel free to go bigger. It's like we deal with a lot of behavioral health, and for us to purchase a bicycle, it's very therapeutic when a kid who lives in Paulden and is having situations with inside the house and he's looking at a way to process those feelings. Well, here's a bike, and you could go out and burn off some of that steam, come back, and we can reevaluate some of the behaviors and thoughts that you were going on. I have a great group of ladies called the Prescott Fun Ladies. Did you know there's a group in town called the Prescott Fun Ladies?
I wasn't aware of
that. See, it is great. It's a group of about 15, 20 ladies that they take some of my major requests, which is so fabulous, and they're in tune. Last year, one of the great things they did, I had a 15-year-old boy, big guy, kind of like yourself, and he was asking for a suit. So, okay, nothing wrong with asking, okay, why do you want a suit? He wanted a suit because for when he goes to church, and he's 15, he's like, I'm going to be looking at going on job interviews. I want a suit. It's like, so these ladies stepped it up. But this is, some of the thought process that's, going on. And these ladies stepped it up so much. Not only did they buy him the suit, but they got him a gift certificate, Men's Warehouse, so he could have accessories, so he could have, the belts, the shirts, and things along those lines. So, he could utilize them in the fashion that he wanted to. And so, these are some of the angles and, some of the support. And these are some of the requests that are within our community that we're able to fill.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely good people. It's a great program. It's our Gifts of Hope program. So if anybody wanted any more information on it, feel free to contact us, which I think you guys are going to flash our local information on here. And just so you know that all donations that are received for Arizona's Children's Association stay inside the county, could be directed towards any of these specific programs. Like you said earlier, how important the tax credit is. You can really monitor and have a say in where that money's going to. If I run across somebody who's passionate about animals, I have no problem directing them towards, the Humane Society or other organizations that help out that. But for us, when children are, and the youth of today are your concern and being a part of it, then definitely we're here to support and enhance and to make progress inside our community.
That's wonderful. Any other programs you want to talk about?
Well, we also have some of these programs are referral service, and we partner with the West Yavapai Guidance Clinic that is aware of some of our programs that we have. But some of the free services that we have donations where we partner with other different grants where we're able to provide safety equipment for families and kids in need inside the county. Initially, it starts out with diapers. Feel free to come in. We have a variety of different sizes of diapers. Some of the other things that I buy with the grant money that is given to us, I've talked to some of our clinicians and talked to some of our foster families, and we want to make sure that they're in compliance. But we're looking at carbon monoxide detectors, smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, safety for small ones on some of the appliances, things along those lines. So looking at safety and making sure that sometimes the basic needs take priority, but making sure that some of the other things are in place so they can move forward.
So you're in compliance if you're working with what used to be called the working poor, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I just wanted to elaborate on that. And so your role is to facilitate this?
The variety of different services, from the different in-home services. It depends. Each family, each kid, it varies from. And our referrals, the referral agencies, direct accordingly, and they know what some of the services that we provide. There's a program that we have called Parents as Teachers, where our clinicians go in to help get a head start on their education. And this is from 0 to 5. This is early childhood brain development. So one of the programs that they do is a literacy program, to whereas they come in with a kit, a variety of different reading materials. We have great groups inside the community that make us these quilts that are to specifications about, I think, 3 to 5. But what the child learns is that, hey, when I take out this quilt and put it out, I'm giving a signal in a positive way to my parents that it's time that I'm interested to read right now, to have some time together to where you read to me. And this, we've been in contact with the school districts, and one of the biggest problems that they have, talking to Superintendent Joe Howard, is kids being prepared. There's nothing worse than coming into the school district and you're already behind. You're going to be playing catch up. So a program like this is on a preventative level, Parents as Teachers, and which is available to people inside the community. So feel free to, if you know anybody, to look up at arizonaschildren.org, and you can refer them to this program that's inside our agency. We also have a we just changed the name, so that's why I want to make sure. Family Education and Support Services. So they have free workshops, classes, providing information and support for parents and caregivers on child development and positive parenting. So there's different seminars. Feel free to contact us. They're open to the community. They're taking registration. They hold classes in Prescott Valley, over in the Verde Valley, and this is
Parent training.
parent training. It is. I know it's something that we all can learn as parents, both of us. It's ever changing. There's new things that are out there, and nobody should feel like they're deficient. That this is a way to pursue and educate yourself on how to engage and enhance your child's early childhood brain development. So these are some of the things that we have.
So how can our audience help and other people help?
I help, like you said, with the Arizona tax credit. Obviously, they can go on our website and look at the services that we provide with inside the county, and maybe there's something there that's passionate that they want to donate to. There's also some volunteer options. We have a great fundraiser. I think it'll be our 5th year in April coming up in the spring with the Raven Cafe for Child Abuse Prevention Month. And we have our event there. I'm always looking for volunteers to help out, get the word out, local artists to donate art for our silent art auction. There's music, food, and things along those lines. So that's definitely a way to come in and get an idea of what we're doing and get some of the dialogue and conversation going, as well as our Gifts of Hope program, which is going on currently right now.
Okay. So tell us some stories that emphasize the results of your programs.
Okay, well, good. Like I said, mentioned, the young gentleman who just got out of the service and was able to, better himself along those lines. Another a youth I'm thinking of off hand right now, he was able, through some funding through our Thrive Mentorship program, was able to receive housing and schooling at Yavapai College, and found himself a passion for the Hotshot program, to which is he joined and is currently in there right now pursuing that. And there's a youth that was out of the foster care system that is currently benefiting from the services that they have and going in a direction that is more than enhancing our community and to be a part of.
I was just at the C-Tech place behind Ruger, and there's an amazing array of activities that people can learn and become, like firefighting services, I think they called it, as well as flight. There's flight simulators for helicopters and planes. There's the unmanned airplane or drone system. There's the flight controls, air traffic controllers, that sort of thing, as well as welding and gunsmithing and all that kind of thing. So if some of the people coming out of your programs don't necessarily need to go to college, they can go to a vocational school and make a lot of money coming out of there.
Yes.
Because it's really awesome going. I want to take some of those classes.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to be in a helicopter or a plane where you're flying. I mean, that's just me personally. I
know, but I was in the military and I repelled from them and that sort of thing and jumped out of planes. So.
Right, but that's the thing, to realizing. I mean, any kid, but realizing coming out of the foster care system or any youth-oriented situation, what's available to you, and realizing what's available within inside our own community.
When I got out of college, I didn't even know how to, I'm a CPA, I didn't even know how to do a bank reconciliation. So sometimes you need functional, practical application of your thing, and that's what they do over at C-Tech in terms of people that might be coming out of your program.
Yeah.
And I just was there Friday, so I'm really excited.
Oh, good. I'll have to poke my head in there. There's a bunch of fabulous things over there. I had the privilege of going over to APS and talking to them about their nonprofit donations for the year and just giving them an idea of some of the services we provide. There are a lot of other nonprofits there as well. I think it's a great giving program that they have that gives back to the community, as with the direction that what their passion is. So
yeah, it's terrific. Yeah. So you do a lot of great services and you get a lot of free resources, as well as you help place in the foster care system?
We're part of the team, working with other agencies and looking at the kids individual.
Like Casa for Kids or something like that?
Yeah, it's definitely, Casa. I was just on the phone with somebody over there, and we were discussing, making sure that all bases were covered for both our holiday programs and making sure that nobody's deficient. One year somebody could have a surplus, and I know we're always, willing to share. And so we're just making sure everyone's taken care of. So, and going to everybody's strengths is an important thing.
All right. All right. So we at the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club would like to invite you on our club meeting, which is held at Waffles and More every Thursday at 7 a.m. You will find the club is friendly and fun, but also very engaged in the Prescott and Prescott Valley communities, really Tri-City area. We joke and laugh and fully understand our purpose in the community we serve. If you want to be part of such a group, then become a member of the club. I would also like to thank the Prescott Media Center, Rob and Jim and Linda and Emma for helping us with this program today. And again, thank you, Daniel Leavitt, sorry, leader at the Arizona's Children's Association, for running this wonderful and helpful program.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.